That noise, what's that racket?
That's the press, baby. The press.
This is Californian Radio on Smart Talk 1230. To be a part of the show, call 631-1230.
That's 631-1230.
The newspaper that has been covering Bakersfield and Kern County for over a century. The Bakersfield Californian is on the radio.
You got a lot of nerve to say you got a helping hand to lend.
Now, along with Bakersfield Californian President and CEO Richard Bean, here is Jeff Lamucci on Smart Talk 1230.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Good to have you aboard. Richard is off today, but Olivia Garcia has gotten herself a promotion. You are now the president and CEO of the Bakersfield Californian. What do you think of that?
I guess it could be it for the day since he's out, enjoying vacation.
What would be the first thing you would do if you got that spot?
Gosh, you know what? Maybe we should all have like a masseuse for a day.
Wow, that's not a bad idea, but
I know.
You have to think
it'd
harder.
work. Yeah.
First thing you do, give yourself a raise?
We should all get a raise.
There you go. Starting with you, right? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad at all. Another edition of Bakersfield Life has hit the stands.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys outdo yourself every month.
Well, it's very busy. Each month we always have these great stories, and it's fun planning.
Yeah.
So this one is a fun one because it goes along with the season of the time.
Mm-hmm.
With football in place and a lot of fall games and other sports coming into play. So I like it. In fact, we also have someone within this room who's featured in the magazine.
Okay, all right. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with Olivia Garcia, Hillary Haynes from Bakersfield Life Magazine. We've got a good show lined up for you today. Jennifer Henry from Links for Life and Mark Garibaldi, Mind Over Matter, helping local athletes. Tell you all about it when we come back on the Monday edition of Californian Radio here on Smart Talk 1230.
The Bakersfield Californian is on the radio. It's Californian 1230.
Good to have you back. It is 10:21 on a Monday, and the October 2011 edition of Bakersfield Life is out on stands and coming out. Has come out in the Saturday edition of the Bakersfield Californian. So that's what we're chit-chatting about today. Your host is Olivia Garcia. She is the editor of this fine magazine.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
So today we have a couple of guests that we wanted to have on board with us because the stories that they share in this issue are pretty relevant and timely, especially for our community.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break. We'll check in with ABC News at the bottom of the hour, do a little business, and then come back. We're talking with Jennifer Henry, Links for Life Director, about breast cancer awareness, and coming up, Mark Garibaldi, Mind Over Matter, helping lots of athletes, including some local folks here, and we'll see if it works for trimming the waistline. Does it, Mark? He's kind of shaking his head. All right, very good. It's the Monday edition of Californian Radio here on Smart Talk 1230. Hop is at the controls. He'll punch the right buttons for you, then we'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Now, once again, here's Jeff Lamucci and Californian Radio on Smart Talk 1230.
And welcome back. Good to have you aboard on a Monday. 631-1230 is the number to call if you'd like to chat with us today. And you can find us on the web at smarttalk1230am.com. All right, let's move on.
Well, we have our next guest here. Mark, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you very much for having me today.
Oh, we're great to have you here. Happy to have you. It's Mark Garibaldi, right? Did
Yes,
we pronounce
that's correct.
That correctly? We were just talking about last names and pronunciation.
That's the correct pronunciation, Garibaldi. Yes.
For the Italians, we've got to get that correct.
What part of Italy is your family from?
The Garibaldi side is from the Genoa area, and my mother is a Ghilarducci, so she's from the Lucca.
Ghilarducci. Yeah, Ghilarducci. Yeah, that's pretty familiar up there.
Yes.
Giovanetti, Lamucci, Ghilarducci, Banducci, Fanucci.
Most of them I'm related to.
Yes, we're all related.
I think so.
In one way or the other. Yeah.
They
Are you my dad? You're not old enough to be my dad.
He is not. Mark, we were so happy to have this article about you in the Garrow Method, and we were hoping that you could share some information about how it works and how it makes an impact on people's lives. From what I read, you've made a big difference here for some local people as well.
Yes. Well, this is a program that I put together back. Well, actually, I was in law school when I put it together. And my main focus is to focus on the mental aspect for people, because when you have the mental aspect or you're mentally fit, it helps with everything you do in life, whether it's academics, whether it's athletics, whether it's just business or professions. I really apply my methodology to all areas of life with the goal of making people better.
So what do you mean by mentally fit? I mean, is it like, did you get your 8 hours of sleep? Or, tell us more about how do you prepare to be mentally fit?
Well, the main thing is to get people relaxed and focused, because stress is really an issue that everybody deals with, whether you're students or adults or in the broadcasting industry or in the publishing industry. And so the idea is to get yourself relaxed and focused and sort of get you in the zone and help alleviate any distractions you may have to help you perform better at what you do, whether it's your job or whether as a student.
Okay, so is it where you, at a certain, when you're starting to feel the stress come on, because a lot of us feel stress coming on here and there,
Yes.
and so we always try to seek ways to deal with it. But when we do that, it's a matter of just, sitting there and trying to kind of find a way to control it, or what do you do?
Well, everyone is different. And so what I do, those that work with me one-on-one, because what I do is mostly one-on-one training now, or coaching, I should say. And what I do is I teach them a methodology to get themselves relaxed, ways to reduce stress. And I have my little formula that I put together for them, and using relaxation and other various techniques that I have so they can use it on a day-to-day basis. Or, for example, like golfers or athletes, they can use it and keep themselves, focused and keep the distractions out. Because what happens when you start thinking about other things or you get distracted, then it starts disrupting your performance, whether it be on the field or off the field. So my whole methodology is to teach them a process where they can focus and not think about outside things until the event is complete.
Boy, that's so true, because sometimes, especially in this business, if you have a stumble or a bad read or something, you
Yes.
tend to concentrate. You're still back there, instead of going on from the point of offense, so to speak, and moving on. You're still in your head back there, and the words are still coming out, but your mind's back there. And we have a saying, kind of like, shake it off. You got to just shake it off. But sometimes that's easier said than done.
And that's what I do. I teach them a technique that they could use. Like, for example, golfers. Say they have a bad shot or an off shot, a way that they can forget about the shot and move on. Just play one shot at a time. Because if they're still thinking about a shot that happened earlier, it can affect your game. So I teach them a technique they can actually erase that, hopefully, and move forward.
So then you could probably see that a lot with student athletes, because they're in the moment, and you can obviously see how that makes an impact when they miss that shot or they don't perform as what they wanted, and they still have future competitions or moves to do.
Absolutely, and that's again, my program is not just for athletes. That's just one area. I mean, it can be used for anything, academics or just day-to-day life, but I have a lot of golfers the last 5 or 6 years. They seem to gravitate towards my program. And I'll actually go out and watch them. And in that situation, I'm not watching, or I'm not actually concerned about their swing or actually what their technique is. I watch their body movements, their mannerisms. How do they conduct themselves? Are they walking confidently? No Tiger Woodisms. I don't want any throwing of clubs, throwing of balls, profanity. Because my whole goal is to make them also better people. Because there are going to be very few that are going to advance to the next level, whether Division I golf, collegiate golf, or whether it's going to be professionally. But my program, as I said, it's not just about the mental, but part of the mental is manners, professional, thankfulness, appreciation, and humbleness is a big part of it.
Yeah. Wow, good stuff. We'll take another break, and then we'll come back and finish up the last segment with Mark. But Boy, this is really interesting stuff, and I can see how it can apply to every single thing in life. So we'll come back and continue our talk with Mark Garibaldi. And it's Californian Radio on Smart Talk 1230. Find us on the web at smarttalk1230am.com. 631-1230 is the number to call.
Now back to the Bakersfield Californian on the radio. It's Californian Radio on Smart Talk 1230.
Welcome back to the final segment as we hit the home stretch of the Monday edition of California Radio here on Smart Talk 1230. Mark Garibaldi is our guest, and your host today, Olivia Garcia, along with features associate of the Bakersfield Life magazine, Hillary Haynes.
Okay, so Mark, in the article it mentions that you came up with this method in law school.
Yes.
And it was kind of based on your life experiences. Now, can you tell us about a time that when you were feeling down, how do you manage your stress?
Okay, well, that's correct. I actually came up with my methodology when I was in law school. But the way I manage my stress is I go to the gym. And I've been doing that for, don't want to date myself, but over 30 years. And I go to the gym 4 days a week, and I do it early in the morning, so that gets me going. And then I focus on my diet. And nutrition is a very big part of the mental aspect. So when I work with people one-on-one, I do focus on the nutritional aspect, because if you're not eating the proper foods, your blood sugar drops, and it can affect your concentration, the way you react every day. So with me, what I would do is I would focus on what I'm eating and also on exercise. And then, of course, use my own mental techniques to get myself relaxed and focused.
Well, talk about that for a minute, about
Yes.
in terms of the stress that comes from overeating and knowing you've overeaten. I mean, I hear people say that a lot of, excuse me, ladies, I don't mean to use this as the only example, but a lady will say, okay, I want to get this, I'm going to be a bridesmaid in December, and I'm going to lose 20 pounds between now and December, and it doesn't happen, they gain 10. Because the stress is so much that they, and the only way they deal with stress, I say the only way we as people tend to deal with stress is to eat sometimes, So how do you make it work between the ears,
That's a good point.
Did it make any sense at all?
It does make sense, because what I see a lot of these weight loss programs out there, see people dealing with trying to help people lose weight. The number one thing you have to work on is mental.
Yeah.
The mental aspect, because if you don't feel confident and have the self-esteem that you can do it, it's really for naught. So you need to work on that mental part and actually visualize yourself and realize it and feel as if you can actually accomplish that goal. I mean, it doesn't do any good just to say you're going to go to the gym, I'm going to try to change the diet up, I'm going to eat this food or disallow this food, if you don't mentally feel that you can do it. And that's why I say it's the most important thing we do in life. Then you're going to have a difficult time getting past that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, again, if I was working with somebody and helping them lose weight, or those that may want to gain weight, student athletes, everything starts with the mind, just like a computer.
Yeah.
You've got your operating system, you got your hard drive. If your operating system is not working, how's your hard drive going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a virus in that operating system, it's not going to work. So the virus in this is distractions and self-confidence. So I want to bring in self-esteem, make them feel good about themselves, excited about doing it, make them feel fantastic, and that helps them with their cause.
Before Hillary asked you another question, I was curious because you said something about nutrition.
Yes.
What are some of the most common problems that you've seen and those who've come to you as far as like their bad eating habits? What are they eating or what are they drinking that's really causing a big problem in their life? Excellent
question. What I see is when I first meet with somebody one-on-one, I do a complete question and answer. I'll spend quite a bit of time with them. But what I find, especially like with high school students or even adults, everybody eats the same 10 or 12 things on their diet. And how are students going to function when they're having potato chips? And most of them do not eat breakfast. Breakfast means break the fast. It's very important to eat breakfast. And they'll say, we're running short on time, so we run out of the house. How are you going to function academically, athletically, just socially, without eating the right things? So I teach them how to eat, and nothing sophisticated. It's really common sense. It's a rotational diet. Fruits and vegetables, very important.
Yeah.
Do students like that? Do a lot of adults see that? No. So I try to teach these things and indoctrinate them with juices and different types of recipes so that they don't wait till they're 40 or 50 years old to start realizing, hey, you know what? Maybe I should have been eating these things. Maybe these could help me prevent myself from developing breast cancer like you were speaking about. So I ask them what they eat, but I see a lot of fast food and a lot of junk. So I try to wean them off that. And I prepare meals for them when I work with them.
You mentioned distractions
Yes.
in terms of proper nutrition. What are some of the distractions that you find are more common for all of us?
And what level, like adults or
Yeah, like
students?
adults. I mean, if I want to lose weight and become healthier, what do I have to deal with in terms of distractions?
First of all, probably your job
Yeah.
and your family. Trying to multitask and not having enough time to do it. And that's probably the biggest issue. When am I going to find time to try to work on myself? And to me, it's the most important thing. If you're not healthy, how can you be a productive and functioning person and happy in life? So people should spend more time on themselves. The people will spend more time taking their car to the car wash every week to be sure that car is clean, as opposed to watching what they eat, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water. And that way, so I think the distraction is not having enough time or not making enough time for yourself, especially as a parent, because you put all the focus on your kids, and it's difficult to say, okay, am I being selfish by working on myself and maybe going to the gym or focusing on going to the farmer's market? You're not, because if you're not healthy, how's the rest of your family going to function?
Yeah, we say we don't have the time, but it's bottom line is we don't make the time.
Need to make the time.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, Mark, you're busy coaching professional athletes, students in the classroom, and business professionals, and then you also you're a lawyer.
That's correct.
What is a typical day like for you?
A typical day like for me would be get up in the morning, 5 o'clock, go to the gym first, be at the gym for a couple hours, come home, eat, and then start working on my program. Making phone calls, working on the computer, working on other programs that I'm currently working on.
Sue some people.
Hopefully not. I don't have to do too much of that. Thank goodness.
Put some crooks in jail.
That's why I'm doing this as opposed to too much law. And so it's pretty busy doing a lot of different things.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I wish we had more time. We're out of time, but this is fascinating stuff, Mark. If people want more information, where can they go? Do you have a website?
The best thing would go to my website, www.thegaromethod.com.
Garo?
Yes, TheGaromethod.com.
All right.
Or they can call me 661-635-8447. Probably the easiest on the website because it's got all the contact information there.
Very good. Mark Garibaldi, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hillary, Olivia, thanks very much, and thanks again for the little kudos in the
Of course.
in Bakersfield Life. All right. Hope the edition doesn't go out of print now because of that. Hop, thank you, sir. Take care, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow. Robert Price is your host on the Tuesday edition of Californian Radio right here on Smart Talk 1230. Ciao.
Thank you.